Well, welcome back to the Power Breakfast Show. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. Now, late last year, rather strange incident caught the attention of the nation. You may remember when the Harambee Stars almost missed a qualifier in Cape Verde because of challenges regarding funding. Now, what may surprise you is that these challenges are universal across Kenyan sports, and that's a big issue, especially in the run-up to the 2016 Rio Olympics. Now, joining me in studio to get deeper into these matters, I'm joined by not one, not two, but 4 presidents of federations. I feel very privileged to be in the presence of greatness, together with another gentleman who will also introduce, even as we continue. Maybe I can just start at my right there. We're joined by Mr. Waithaka Kioni, the president of Kenya Volleyball Federation. Next to him, we're joined by Mr. John Kameta, the president of Boxing Association of Kenya. Right here close to me, we're joined by Mr. Andrew Mudibo, the president, Kenya Table Tennis Federation. And on my left, I have Agnes Oluoch, president, Kenya National Paralympics. And of course, to the far left there, we have Mr. Stephen Soy, who for now, I shall refer to him as the chef de mission, Team Kenya, to the 2016 Rio Olympics. One lady, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here today. And of course, I want to begin with you, Bwana Soy, and ask you, when it comes to NOC, who are in charge of the Olympics process, at what point does NOC actually help federations or teams in terms of funding, in terms of facilitation for qualifiers or for the Olympics itself? There's been a bit of confusion over that because many don't know whether to talk to the ministry or to NOC. Where does NOC come in, especially with the Olympics barely 4 months away?
Good, thank you, Waiga. First, at what point do NOC come into assisting the federations that are qualifying for the Olympic Games or any other games for that matter? First, let us talk about the process of the games. The process of the games would normally start about 2 years to the games, where the National Olympic Committee would be carrying out the documentation process and also identifying the sports disciplines that are likely to participate in the games. Doing that in collaboration with federations, once the team has been identified, it is the responsibility of the national federations to prepare for qualification process. However, the element of funding has been broken down into 2 specific areas. First, we do submit the responsibility of entering the teams to the games is that of the National Olympic Committee.
Okay, however, you're the one that registered the team.
Funding element, of course, is shared between the National Olympic Committee and the government through the Ministry of Sports. What did we do for Rio in particular? We did submit a budget for the qualification process, which initially, when we had taken on board all the sports discipline, it was amounting to about 480 million. And over the period, because the qualification process actually started on 1st of May 2014, and it will continue up to 30th of May 2016. This process is something that we factored in the budget. We did submit the budget to the ministry, indicating this particular discipline will be due for qualification at this particular point in this place. We have had various consultative meetings with the ministry talking about the same. And as we speak now, the budget for the qualification process had reduced to about 230 million.
From the 400 and something million that you applied for?
Of football fell out of the way, yes, because of failing to qualify the under 23. The last team that was supposed to qualify was the women football team, and this was held in Machakos, but they didn't qualify. They
lost to South Africa.
Yeah.
My question is, we are in March,
yes,
and I believe the gentleman here and the lady can testify. Is it not a bit late to be waiting for funding? Should the funding potentially not have been released earlier? Because I know just the other day boxing had a challenge. They are at the airport and they are stranded, and I know maybe the ministry can shed more light on this, but just your take on it as well.
Well, I think good performance will come from good preparation. Therefore, that means all the teams are supposed to adequately prepare for the games. And facilitation for qualification process is supposed to be something that should have been done last year, not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year. We have had several challenges where the National Olympic Committee had to chip in at the last minute because we found that the teams were getting frustrated into participating in the qualification. And without qualification, it's then pointless to say that we are participating in the game.
Well, so I'll hold you to that point because I believe each of the presidents here just need to bring in their points. Agnes, you're hoping, of course, that several of your members will actually participate in the Rio Paralympic Games. But I know, I'm sure, especially from the emails that we've been getting, that you've been facing challenges. Briefly, just share with us what those challenges would be.
Okay, for me, I think the Kenya National Paralympics, we've been having challenges, being that last year we needed to take our team for a qualification, which was supposed to be in Doha, but because of funds, we could not take our athletes. So that one is a serious challenge, and in fact, for us to make it to Rio, we need to qualify for the Paralympics, we need to qualify in 2 events. So,
is there funding for those 2 events? Are you able to take the teams there? Okay,
right now the government has promised to give the funds that we'll be able to take the athletes to Dubai. The first team will be leaving today in the evening for Dubai, and the other team will be leaving on 19th to Tunisia, and then we also have a 3rd team that should be leaving to Morocco 1st of May.
Okay, so technically we would say that for now you can see some light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to Paralympics.
Yes, I would say that, but the one that we were supposed to go, because that was just the one that we missed out on last year, was a big challenge because it was a direct qualification to Rio.
So if you had gotten a team there last year, right now we'd be talking about athletes who have already qualified.
Yes.
Okay. I'll skip Mr. Mudibo because there's something else I want to talk with him, which I'll come to shortly. Bonakameta, you called me last week with challenges at the airport. What was happening? And of course, we know that when Harambee Stars was stranded at the airport, the whole nation knew. But for you, you seemed to be suffering alone. Or have I misquoted you?
Yes, I'm not suffering alone. It depends on the a lot of things. Of course, we had these applications way back last year, and as usual, I can say as usual, the government through the Minister of Sports never communicates back to us.
So you send everything they need
in good time. We have evidence. I make them receive, but I don't have a single file or a single letter from the ministry telling me the position. You remember last time we missed a qualifying in Morocco, which was quite crucial, very important. Now remaining with the current one, which is ongoing in Cameroon. It is just unfortunate that these things are done last minute.
And it is unfortunate also that we don't have a representative from the sports ministry, both who could have spoken on behalf of the ministry out of the country. But nevertheless,
I can assure you, they cannot come. They'll never come.
They will never come for a forum.
They'll never come.
So if I call another one in April,
I'm telling you, if they came, I'll give you. I don't know what I can offer, but I can assure you they cannot come because it's really tough on them. They do these things last minute, and I've done enough investigations. These things are not done last minute because of, a lack of knowledge. It is a cartel. There is a cartel there. They want to push you to the last minute so that you cannot say anything. One of the things that I've just realized, I've realized it's because of the system that people say Kenya is corrupt, but it is us. And from today, I'm telling you from here, I'm going to take these guys plus other federations. We are sitting down. We are forming a pressure group. We cannot accept these things to go on. We cannot afford to have sleepless nights because federations. You know, you feel like you're waiting for your wife to come out of that room when you are told like tomorrow you cannot go, and you're not being told tomorrow because you came very late, you came very early. That confusion is man-made. As you're speaking right now, we have 2 government officials in Cameroon representing the government, and they're still saying the Minister of Sport
does not have money. I'll not allow you to get too far into that because I wish I had a representative here to clarify what you're saying.
I'm telling you, as a federation, they are there. They are going to spend more than $1 million, Bob, which would have been paid. All these payments the government are sending a representative to Cameroon, those payments would have been made from here. We are living in a digital life. You can pay the hotels from here.
Yes.
You can pay the athletes from here. Why do they appoint someone to carry the money physically to Cameroon? What for?
That's a serious allegation. We will need to confirm that.
It's not allegation.
Also, if I allow Mr. Kameta to go, and he may dominate the whole conversation. But
Okay, yes.
Malkia Strikers, do they still have a window? The last time we checked, they missed the qualification process, the normal qualification process, but you have gotten a green light. Let's talk about the green light that you have vis-a-vis the support, because you have one of the most visible teams, the national women's volleyball teams.
Before we talk about the window they have now, let's take a flashback and see what happened before the team left for Cameroon. The team trained for 2 months continuously. We engaged the ministry. I personally had a meeting with the principal secretary, Dr. Ekai, and the vibes you are getting from there is that there's no money. There's no money. And as the team left for Cameroon, the government had provided 0 cent, not a single cent.
Where did the funding for Cameroon come from? Sponsors?
From sponsors, and also belatedly from the National Olympic Committee. The National Olympic Committee did give some 3 million, I think, after the team left, which was very, very, very helpful. Because when we got to Cameroon, we were short of about 300,000, right? And you have to plead with the organizers, give us time. And it's very embarrassing for Team Kenya to go pleading in Cameroon and Pesa in Atumwa. You know, it is unfortunate. And what you are saying is that the government should stop dealing with the sports federations in a haphazard manner, because it's ad hoc, it's haphazard, it's frustrating, it's annoying. Anyhow, we went to Cameroon, we did our best, we lost to Egypt for reasons which I don't want to give here. And because the Malkia Strikers are recognized internationally, because particularly last year, they won a global event. When we sent an email to the international board indicating our inability to proceed because you have no money,
they got back.
The following morning they responded. You are developing that team, you are developing the sport. We are going to organize for you to be in Puerto Rico. We are going to plead with the Argentina Volleyball Federation to host you. That is to host us, because our government cannot provide funding for our team when it goes outside there. It is shameful.
I'm taken aback by some of the things that are being said here right now. And of course, I'll give Wanasoya a chance to also shed light, because he sits in the middle. On one hand, he understands where the federations are coming from, but on the other hand, he also sits to some extent in government.
But before Soy speaks, let me say this, because I want to support what Bonakameta has said.
Okay. You
write to the ministry, you give the ministry your program, your budgets, and as Bonakameta says, you never get any response from the ministry.
Emails, you take hard copies,
you do not get any feedback. You have to continue following, and eventually you get 0. It's very sad.
I think as soon as Dr. Hassan Wario is back in the country, we will need to host him here. Bwanasoya, I'll be coming to you shortly, but Mr. Mudibo, we are counting down to the Olympics. First things first, I'll give you a chance just to briefly state whether Kenya has hope for the Olympics in table tennis. But secondly, we have a deadline coming up. The World Anti-Doping Agency has told Kenya that we need to clean up our act before April 5th and comply before we can actually get a chance to take Team Kenya to the Olympics. And I know there's some light you want to shed on that particular matter.
Yes. If it's about table tennis, I'll not get into it like if we have a chance or if we do not. At the end of the day, everything is about funding. And for me, as Kenyans, let's look back. We had the Sports Act in 2013. Is it working? Is it being implemented? The CES is the one who's supposed to lead it. If you look at the different bodies that have been set up, we have the National Fund that is there. Is it playing its role? 3 years down the line, nothing is happening. That is where funding is supposed to be coming in for everyone. So you want me to qualify, I need the funding for me to be able to prepare. Right now, there's also been talk about Kenya being banned in WADA and all that. Let's go back. The issues of anti-doping did not start today.
That's right.
It started with, in fact, my MP, Dr. Paul Otoma. In 2008, we had CADA, which National Olympic Committee had already started.
Okay.
In 2008, WADA had already given, there were rules that WADA had already agreed.
By CADA, you mean the Kenya Anti-Doping?
Yes, Kenya Anti-Doping, yes. WADA had already agreed for those rules. We were already on the right path, we were moving well. So, After Otoma left, Ababu came in for a short stint, and then later on the CS came in, the current CS. So we need to be told, why do we need to start reinventing the wheel when we had already had rules which WADA had already agreed? We did not need to start forming up a new body where you start from ground zero, and that is what is bringing in new problem. Right now the problem is not about legislation, because under WADA you can still operate within rules, you can operate within the policies that are there. So when you are being told, and we are being rushed as a country, that this legislation has to happen today, we are being taken, it is a fool's ride that we are being entered into. Right now, in fact, yesterday we got an email that there is a validation exercise that all federations will be going through for the same rules. Now, I hope maybe the ministry has realized that we can still operate with the rules and avoid whatever the noise that is now around it.
So are you saying that we need not fear being banned by the April 5th deadline?
Fearing will be there, because it depends. The people who are spearheading this, do they know what they are doing? If they don't know what they are doing, we need to fear.
We need to fear. I'll come back to you later. Bwana Soy, you've heard the cries of federations, and these are representation of basically all the federations that we have in the country. I want to hear from you. Number one, I doubt this is new to you. I'm sure these are things you hear every day. My question is there anything that federations can do to ensure that the process is smoother, or do you feel that now the government just needs to come in? When you are listening, were you thinking to yourself, if boxing had done this, if volleyball had done this, maybe they wouldn't be where they find themselves right now, where we are going for the second? We have to keep asking for more qualifiers to get a chance, because we missed the first qualifier because funding was not available. What would be your say? I'm sure there were things going on in your mind as they were talking.
Well, first, as a chief de mission, really, I have been in contact with these federations. Whatever information we requested from the federations, they did provide. And we submitted the same request directly to the responsible ministry. It's frustrating and really hurts when you have a process that people need to respect what is going on. Unfortunately, we need to understand also that there are certain processes that individuals will not have control. Let's talk about the funding issue. Every time I raise the issue with the ministry, there was the exchequer issue. The exchequer issue is beyond the ministry. That is the treasury's responsibility. But
are we saying that the needs of sports in the country is bigger than what the ministry has in terms of a budget?
Yes, in terms of the budget, in terms of the budgetary allocation.
Can you give us a rough figure? Do you have an idea of, well, per year how much is needed, and per year what the ministry may or may not? I know you can't speak authoritatively, but
assumingly that all the federations was to be strongly supported, be funded, it will not be less than 1.2 billion. Okay. It won't be.
Gentlemen, do you agree?
That's a pocket money.
Yes, pocket money for the government. Okay.
Okay, fine. I don't speak for the government, but I'm saying, I'm saying, if there is need to dispense funds, these funds should be dispersed in good time. My worry and concern really is, why should people go why should people work out on programs, deliver the said programs requesting for funding, and they are never met? I think it is time that we started doing things differently. Let's get people doing the best practices, and I think this will get rid of areas, get rid of suspicion. It will prepare people. Let's get to learn to be doing things as they are supposed to be done, and I think we'll be moving forward. Having said that, I want to come back to the funding issue, belated funding and all this. The responsibility of funding out teams going outside the country is the responsibility of the ministry.
Okay. So you
because we are carrying the Kenyan flag. I think that is the bottom line. Let's understand that. But don't force Kioni or Mudibo or Kameta, for that matter, to drop certain required preparation or preparation level just because there's no funding. Two, I think there needs to be an element of trust. What is ailing the Kenyan sport at this point in time is that there has been a lot of accusations that are being directed to the officials who are running these federations. And
that's something I actually want to bring up, and I'll hold you on that because I know we may not have a lot of time. let me hypothetically put myself in the seat of the sports ministry and say that this is the amount of money I was given by the Exchequer. I have asked for 1.2 billion. I've been given 500, 400 million. So I can only allocate it in a particular way. So I want us to think about that and say, what do you then do when you only have this amount of money and all these federations want funding? That's one. And I want Agnes to start. Secondly, sponsorship. There has been a feeling that the reason why federations in Kenya don't get sponsorship is because of corruption, lack of information, lack of transparency, lack of creativity on the part of the federation to paint a team so well that the public can't get enough of it. And Agnes, maybe we could just start with you. I can see hands rising up on the other side, but I just want to get a point from you. What can federations themselves do? Because if the ministry says their hands are tied, then their hands are tied. I don't know.
No, what I think the ministry should do, they should prioritize. Because when it comes to qualifying or things that are priorities, that is what they're supposed to do and put their funding there. Now, like our team going to Doha, that was a priority.
And they did. You saw the agency.
Yeah, we saw the agency. We took our budget earlier enough, and they knew this was a priority. Yet they're telling us the last minute, like the team is to leave tomorrow. You're being told today there is no money.
Wow. And
in fact, for that, IPC is charging us, and we need to pay a fee of 2.7 million for the accommodation.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had already
been provided.
It has not been provided. We are just being told wait. But even now, as we are going to Dubai, that money needs to be paid. Otherwise, our team will go to Dubai and will not participate.
So you have a problem as we speak. As you sit here in studio, there's money you're looking for in your mind.
Yeah.
I saw two hands coming up here. Maybe they'll just allow each of you. Kameta, you look like you want to jump out. Go ahead.
I really want to jump because there's I mean, it's not like an emergency.
Okay.
When the ministry is allocated a certain amount of money, as a family, he knows, the ministry knows that these things are going to happen. I'm going to take my child to hospital. I'm going to take my child for a holiday. I'm going to take my child for this and that. And again, Mr. Waiga, there is no way you can fund these sports federations with that attitude. They are corrupt. They are all this. And you cannot prove that. True.
I'm throwing the challenge back to you.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
We are very transparent, by the way. When it comes, I cannot defend other federations, but for boxing, man, we have run this organization in a very professional manner. That's why SportsPesa came in. They gave us 20 million. You saw it. Yes. And the minister himself stood up, said, I'm going to give you another 20 million. To date,
you haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it. We haven't heard of it. There is no communication. 3, and the last one, when you have a small budget, less than you had requested for,
yes,
it's only good to call all these federations together. And you come up with a priority lists. You have 5 games. Which ones are very important? 3 of them. But you know, it's shameful. You are called my ministry. Good morning, Mr. Kameta. Can you give us your budget tomorrow? The minister wants it. I mean, it can't work like that. People are supposed to plan. You know, please hurry up. You send an email, then they say, you know, we have not seen your mail. It's crazy. These things are supposed to be planned. Actually, you're supposed to have a symposium and go through these things. Kameta, with your federation, you have this. Kioni, you have this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have. But I can tell you, this money, the money given to the ministry is more than enough. That is why.
I'll stop you there because
thank you very much.
Needs to speak and come to Kioni.
What I would say is that maybe the ministry, maybe Soy said 1.2 billion. Maybe that is even more than enough. Maybe even $500 million is enough. But what the ministry needs to do, you need to share with us the breakdown of what has happened. If I put money in boxing, let it be known this amount was given. Give us a breakdown of the money that has been used. These roadside decisions where I will give boxing 20 million, it shows that you do not have planning. It has to stop because you have to break it down. Under the Sports Act, it says the national fund has to get the budgets from all federations. They have to compile it. They have to say, do we have enough money or we do not have? They have now to prioritize it. So that is a system that needs to work. and definitely it comes from the Sports Act. It is not working. So when you say that we do not have money, or the ministry is working in, let's say you shoot from the hips.
Yes.
The other time when we were going through the football issues, there were issues about sports federations that are not compliant with the Sports Act. They are illegally in office. If I'm not wrong, there was even an advert that was even put in the papers. For example, FKF, it was said it is an illegal body.
Non-compliant.
But when the elections came, you still go out and give them 17 million. Why are you giving an illegal body money? For me, as table tennis, I don't want even the 17 million. That 1 million is enough for me.
That 1 million is enough for
Yes.
Bwana Kioni, I know last year, brilliant year for you. The team did very well. But this year, in the headlines, volleyball has just been facing various challenges. For me, I want to pose the same question to you. What can federations do then, knowing that a ministry may not have all the allocation?
Before I answer that one, let's first of all talk about the ministry being proactive. And also maybe also address the government, because Banasoi says the ministry maybe does not get sufficient funding from the exchequer. So the government needs to commit itself towards supporting activities and programs involving the youth, so that when we prepare our budget for the whole year, and when we do this budget, to the ministry you only send international competitions for the national teams. International competitions for the clubs take care of themselves. Local competition, the federation takes care of. So the international program, once you send to the ministry should come back to us and tell us, okay, you are expected to get 1 billion from the government, you only got so much. So out of these international competitions, which ones you think are priority? So that as you begin the season, you know, this year we shall have this supported by the government, we shall have this supported, and this is not. You have a program going forward. As it is now, it's haphazard. As Pandakameta says, you don't know until the last minute whether you are in it or you are not. All right? If you check, for instance, what's happening in Rwanda or even Botswana, if you talk to them, they'll tell you, yes, this year we are confirming, at the beginning of the year, we are confirming we shall be in these and these and these events.
They have the calendar.
They have the calendar, and they have the guaranteed funds from their government. Here, that's not the case. Now, about sponsorship, it's unfortunate that in Kenya, corporate sponsorship has not yet caught up, because sports is a big industry, particularly in developed countries. It's a challenge, but the federations have to work a little bit harder. The federations have to bring on board professional sports marketing.
What does it mean to work a little bit harder? And I want us to get into that, because I can see, even when you look at potential sponsors, I see a lot of sports betting companies coming into the mix as well, and maybe I want us to get into that. And I want you to explain to me, how are you packaging your federations to attract sponsorship? And maybe you can pick up on that.
Yes, you know, it's usually like the case of the chicken and the egg.
Which came first?
Yeah, when you go to a potential sponsor, you tell you, yes, we can sponsor you, but what message are we getting? You're talking about that team? Oh, it has not performed very well. But for that team to perform to that level, you need funding. All right? This is where, and national teams, and I want to support what Borasoy said, national teams are the responsibility of the government. This is a team that wears national colors, it's a team that's flying the national flag, it's a team that's going to compete using the name of Kenya. You have a situation where the ministry normally gets involved. If you go out there and conquer, they will be at the airport with flowers waiting for you.
Has that happened to you personally?
It has. It has happened with the federation. When you go out there and conquer, they will receive you with traditional dancers, a bouquet of flowers. All right? But if you're struggling to go out there, you don't see them, which is really unfortunate.
I've been told that we may need to wind up soon, so maybe just parting shots from each of you, basically looking at the way forward. And I know I can see you saying that you may look to form a lobby group for...
we are forming.
You will tell me a bit about that shortly. Bwanasoi, how can we find peace in this situation? Because at the end of the day, Kenya, we are one nation, and we need to find a way to work together, ministry and federations.
Yeah, Waiga, I want to say this first. Sports has brought more diplomacy, has sold out this country more than what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing in terms of diplomacy. It is sports that has made this country to be recognized worldwide. And of course, at the same time, we are having our own challenges. I think if you have a project that is likely to give you more profit than the other project, and then concentrate on that project.
Allocation.
Why can allocation for more funding be given to sport when it is selling out this country? And I think it is time sports was appreciated or given its rightful position. Two, we are talking about the preparation and representation. The preparation, if in the profession that I come from, if you want peace, then you must be prepared for war. Now, what would be sports be doing as part of preparation for that war? Because when they go out there, they are going there purposely to defend the name of this nation. They should be given the proper recognition.
Thank you.
They should be adequately funded, because majority of these professionals in the sporting industry, they know their staff very well. Consult them. And I agree fully to what Kameta was saying. If you have been given less than what you had requested, and then it is only fair that you call these people and say, look here, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have.
Thank you.
Can we adjust our programs to fit into what we have been allocated? Now, having said that, there is this issue that seems to be making Kenyans think as if Kenya is burning on anti-doping issue.
Yes.
The National Olympic Committee did establish a Kenya Anti-Doping Agency back in 2008. They were given our code, the CADA code was given recognition by WADA. Now, since the responsibility of having a National Anti-Doping Agency is supposed to be vested upon the government, it became necessary that this CADA was never given the legal framework, and that is why it did not work. However, all the affiliated federations of the National Olympic Committee, 20 of them, and recognized, changed their constitution to reflect, to align themselves with the WADA code.
I need to stop you there.
Yes.
I need to stop you there because I know at times of Agnes, parting short briefly, just wrapping up what we've discussed today. Yes, parting short.
Okay. For me, what I would want to say is that the government surely would look at Paralympics. They need to support Paralympics 100%. Reason being why we bring medals, and when we come back with our medals, compared to the able-bodied, when they bring their medals, they are being employed at the forces and all that. And for para-athletes, nobody acknowledges them. So I think that one the government needs to see what to do.
Okay, thank you.
My parting shot is the CS, they need to work with the respective sports bodies that are there. If anything, we are the ones who are the professionals. We know what needs to be done. And further to that, about the anti-doping, is that right now there are 2 bills that are in Parliament.
That's right.
We do know, we have not seen about the Wesley bill. That one we understand it's about the issues or elements about criminalization. It is only fair that both bills are pulled out, brought back to us. We see, are we able to borrow maybe what is good in Wesley's bill and put it together with what the CS has put in, so that from there we know, let's have something that is good, because that is legislation. It is not about the rules.
Okay.
Kenya will not be banned because of the legislation. Yeah.
Thank you. Bwana Kameta? Kwa ufupi tafadhali.
My parting shot is that federations must be ready now for combat, serious combat.
Okay.
Yeah, from the national level to the grassroots.
You look like you want to start a trade union.
Not really, because if you see things are not working because of this system the ministry is using, divide and rule. I'm called, I'm given 2 shillings. Mudibo is called, he's told to go home. It's not fair. We need to be called, all of us, and we are given fair share of what the ministry is supposed to do. But you can see this money is being misused in some funny outcomes.
You don't see a clear formula.
Exactly. And again, if the ministry is not going to give us, after today's meeting, it's not going to give us a breakdown of what they got, how much was spent, for what purpose, again, it is only COCOT which is going to force them to do that, because we need to know actually. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Bwana Kukioni?
Yes, my appeal is to the government in general, because when you consider the level of wastefulness in government, the level of corruption, then we appeal to the government to be a little bit more accountable to the youth and provide sufficient funding to the Ministry of Sports so that the ministry can also support programs, particularly in respect of the national teams. That would be a big boost.
Thank you so much. Well, definitely a conversation that we could have had up until 10 o'clock. Of course, very regrettable that the sports ministry only confirmed to be very late, that they'll not be able to send a representative. But I see this as a discussion that we will continue having, possibly in the next 2 months. We may bring the same panelists back and, of course, have someone from the ministry, either the cabinet secretary or the principal secretary, just to look at where these issues are and how can we, moving forward, not have situations where journalists are called by federations who say that we are at the airport, we are stranded. How can you help us? Why does it always have to happen like that? Been covering sports for the last 6-7 years, and the cry has always been the same. I believe those out there who are responsible for this have heard what needs to be done, and we hope that moving forward we will have peace and sanity reign in the world of sports. Well, that's it, of course, on the Power Breakfast Show today. On behalf of the hosts who are here, they have given me permission to officially wind up. Remember, Power Breakfast comes to you every day. That's Monday to Friday from 6 to about 9 o'clock. They've got another exciting show lined up tomorrow. Make sure you catch up with the team then. But for now, it's goodbye and have a lovely day.